Welcome back. I hope all is well. Today we're going to talk about ads and marketing. Do you need ads? Do you need to market your practice? And a little spoiler alert, I do think you need to make ads, especially if you want to grow. I think marketing is really important. And because of that, I'm actually going to teach you how to make an ad in this video. We're going to go through aspect ratios, how you actually create the ad, which programs do you use, what should be on there. There's going to be a whole lot of information in this video. I think it's going to be really helpful for you. But before we dive in, if you haven't done so already, please do go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit the thumbs up button on this video. Only if you want to though, there is no pressure. All right, so the first question we have to answer is, what exactly is an ad? An ad is a piece of content that promotes a service, product, or an idea. And this piece of content can come in many forms. It could be a video, picture, words, t-shirt. There are a lot of different mediums that can communicate what your service, product, or idea is. And just to give you some examples of what an ad is, here are some pictures and images from the internet. So the next question we have to answer is whether or not we actually need an ad as a therapist or someone in private practice. And the reason why we want to ask this is because a lot of therapists actually say that they're able to fill up their practice through a simple Psychology Today profile, word of mouth referrals, and they seem quite content with the amount of referrals they get without having to do any advertising or marketing. So then the question is, why market, why advertise? And it's going to really depend on whether or not you want to grow, especially if you want to become a group practice, or if you want to expand your solo practice in some way. Then you are going to need to advertise, you're going to need to market. Now, if you're just wanting to stick with a solo practice, or you just are okay with a small group practice, then word of mouth, Psychology Today, that will probably be okay. However, if you want to stand apart and you really want to grow, there's no questions asked. You're going to need to advertise and you're going to need to market. I mean, you look at big companies like McDonald's, Geico. I'm just thinking about the first companies that come to my mind. They're such big companies and yet they still advertise. And so it's going to be important for you to advertise if you hope to grow and expand. Let's now talk about marketing and advertising specifically as a therapist. So the principles of marketing and advertising as a therapist are going to be just the same as they are if you're marketing or advertising something like a hamburger. Essentially, what you want to do is make as many potential clients aware of your service as possible. And in making them aware of this service, you want to convince them that booking with you, that receiving therapy from you is going to provide them with the best value possible. Let's break this down just a little bit more. So there's going to be three elements to this marketing and advertising that we want to focus on. And the first is identifying a potential consumer. So this would be a lot of people call it your ideal client, but this is going to be the group of people, the clientele that you specialize in working with. So are you someone who works with young professionals dealing with anxiety? Are you someone who works with people dealing with substance use? I mean, it really is unique to you, but you want to identify your potential client. And this is going to be really, really important because this is how we're going to create our advertisement. This is how we're going to focus the content of our advertisement to kind of catch the attention of that particular clientele. And the second element is going to be your practice. And this is essentially your product. This is your service. What do you do? You're a therapist, but saying that you do therapy is too broad. Do you do CBT? Do you do DBT? Do you specialize in trauma? What is your specialty? What is your service? What makes you unique as a therapist? So we have to really hone in on this and define this well. And then the third element is being able to convince the client. And when I say convince, I don't mean manipulate or trick into. Another word we might want to use is demonstrate. How do you demonstrate to the client or show the client that what you do, what your service is, your therapy, how can you show them that this is going to bring them a lot of value? So much so that they want to book with you. This is what you want your advertisement to do. And so these three elements are going to be really, really important. Who is your ideal client or group of people that you are going to target and that you work with? 2, what is your therapy practice? What sets your practice apart? What's your specialty? What's your niche? What do you do really well? And then 3, we have to think about how we are going to demonstrate, show, or convince these potential clients that your therapy practice is going to bring them so much value that they want to book with you. I know this all sounds very simple, and in many ways, it really is that simple. But we do have to now learn how to make an ad and then post that ad. So if you've made it this far in the video, you've determined that making an ad is going to be helpful for you. Now, there are so many different mediums through which you can advertise, like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, but just to keep things simple, I would recommend starting with 2 advertisements as part of an ad set. So I would recommend creating a video and creating an image, and then both of these would be part of one advertising set. The reason why I would recommend a video and an image is because these are 2 of the most popular pieces of content that are out there, right? So when you're on Instagram, you see a lot of images and videos. Actually, most of the platforms today are all video based. We see tons and tons of videos. So I think without question, a video is going to be really helpful. And then when you make a video, it's not hard to make an image as well. I think having an image can also be very helpful. That's what I recommend. 1 image, 1 video, and this becomes an ad set. So real quick, just to touch on what exactly we mean when making a video and photo. When you're thinking about a photo, this is going to be a static image. Maybe it's an image of the city where you work. Maybe it's an image of a computer that shows you do virtual care. And now when people do images, I would also recommend adding words on top of it. If you do an image of a computer to show that you do virtual care, then maybe you would write something like all virtual care or something of the sorts. Now, this is not an example of a good advertisement, but it's just to kind of paint a picture, right? So an image and some words on top of it. This would be something that would work for an image. Another kind of image that works really well would be something like an infographic, right? So do you have any data points that would make a good advertisement? Something like that. You can really get creative as to what a photo is, but basically it's a static image, all right? Think about that. What image would work? What words would work on top of it? A slogan, something like that. And now a video, this is a little bit more intimidating. People usually think about sitting in front of a camera and talking, and that is one way to do it. Right, so what I'm doing right here, this is obviously a video. If I wanted to make an advertisement, I can talk to my ideal client. I'm Matt, I provide XYZ, I do all virtual care, right? So I can make an ad talking to the camera like this. Now this works well, but it's not for everyone. But a video doesn't just have to be you talking to the camera. You can animate text, you can animate your image. So I think in Canva, I believe, it gives you tools for animating text. So text would kind of slide in or jump up or jump down. Now you can do all sorts of animations. Now this gets very complex. Animations can be all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, you can animate images and make them move. That would be a video. I mean, technically an animation, but it would count as a video. It's an image that moves across a period of time. But that's just to give you some idea as to what you might want to do for your video and what you might want to do for your image. Now, I will say that we see a lot of advertisements, we see a lot of content every single day on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, just tons and tons of content. And a lot of this content looks really well done. It looks professional. The quality of it is really high, right? There's a lot of videos that you see on all sorts of platforms, and it just looks amazing. Now, we're not striving for perfection here, all right? So when we create an ad, when we create a video or an image, we have to remember we're not striving for perfection. Our main goal is to make the potential client aware of the services that we are providing and to convince them that it would bring them value to book with you. Now, this does not require perfection, okay? Now, you can go out and hire someone to make images and videos for you. I think that's totally fine. However, I do think that in the long run, learning how to do it yourself, although it's going to take practice and a little bit of work, it's going to be a really worthwhile investment. One thing I've noticed is that ads that are more genuine, authentic, and personal seem to do really well. They go above and beyond even the ads that are just so crisp and clean and professional looking. There's something about authenticity and your ad being genuine and from you that really helps it stand out. So that's really what we're going to hone in on today. So let's talk about what tools we need to make an ad. So if you know how to use something like Photoshop or Premiere Pro, these are more professional-like tools, I would always recommend using that. Now, the good news is you don't need to know how to use those to make good quality ads. And so I'm gonna recommend 2 tools that anyone can use to make videos and images for an ad. Okay, and the first one is going to be Canva. Now, a lot of people talk about this. This is probably not blowing your mind, but Canva is basically a Photoshop that you can use to make images and videos, and it's very user-friendly. Now, just to preface, there is no program that you just flip on and to start working and you're really good at it. Even the most user-friendly apps and tools require a bit of learning. But Canva is one that I would say is worthwhile learning. It's a mobile application. You can get it on your phone. I do think they have a desktop version, and I would set aside some time to learn how to use it. It is fairly user-friendly, so it won't take that long, but you will need to invest some time. So Canva is one that I would recommend. It has tons and tons of features. It's really great. It's a really, really useful and really, really dynamic. All right, so Canva. I think it's also free. There is a paid version, but I think for the most part, you can do most things with a free account. Another tool I would recommend is one called Unfold. This is another application. It's fairly user-friendly, but it's really beautiful. So the templates that they have are really nice looking. They look really minimal. They're just really professional looking templates. And you can use it to design videos and photos and things like that. So Unfold is another one that I would recommend. I think, again, this one has a free version that's really powerful. And then I think there's also a paid version as well. So if you're someone just getting started, then Unfold and Canva are 2 tools that I would begin learning how to use in order to make images, videos, and ads. So when it comes to what to actually put on the ad, your image or video, something like that, I have a couple recommendations. Although it's creative, you can do whatever you want. And these are some of the things that I've learned along the way. I would keep things minimal and simple. You know, if you're not someone who has a background in design or not particularly artistic, then simple and minimal may be the way to go. If you see this ad that I recently made for my group practice, it's black and white and gray. It's very muted. I'm not very good with colors and color coordination. I don't have a good sense of what goes together, so I decided to just go monotone. You also see when I chose the words, I chose important buzzwords that are also truthful of what we do. So you're going to see here I have ADHD, anxiety, communication, executive function. These are issues that we treat. These are some of our practice specialties. And I know these are words that might catch someone's attention, right? Oh, ADHD, yeah, that resonates. I want to take a look at what this is all about. So that's on there. You're also going to see that I have, and maybe it's a little too small, I could have made it bigger. I have our practice modalities, CBT, DBT, evidence-based, right? Everything we do is evidence-based. That's on the ad as well. I also put that we accept insurance, and that's something that's important for people who are looking for therapy. So what I really tried to do in this ad was to keep it simple and then to have on there content that is quickly and efficiently communicated. So what we do, anxiety, depression, ADHD, that kind of stuff, how we do it, what's our specialty, what's our niche, CBT, DBT, and then some highlights about our practice that might be important for people looking for therapy. We take insurance and we use evidence-based practices. Minimal and simple would be a great way to start. All right, now another really important thing to know about is aspect ratio. If you've never heard this term before, don't be worried. We're going to go through it right now. Now, the aspect ratio is basically the dimensions of your image or video. And so when you film an Instagram story or a TikTok, it's a vertical video. You hold your phone like this, or if you're watching it, you watch it like this, and the video is this way. It's not this way. This would be a 9:16 video or image. 9 would be the width, and then 16 would be the height. If you turn it this way, you now have a 16:9, right? That's more like a YouTube video or a movie, right? Something that you watch like that. If you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at a picture, it's a 4:5, right? So it would be 4 across and 5 up and down, a 4:5. If you see a square, this is a 1:1. And this can get all sorts of confusing. And now when we make advertisements, the thing about it is you have to make an image and video in the right aspect ratio, or else it gets cut off and people cannot see what you've made. So for example, if you make a video that is 9:16, right, so vertical like this, then that might look really good on Instagram stories, but it does not fit on a Facebook feed. It gets cut off. So the top and the bottom would be cut off and you would see the middle. Now making ads is different than just posting to these different platforms. When you make an ad, and we're going to go through this in a separate video because it requires a whole different topic, you actually use one platform. So for example, if you use Facebook Business Manager, you use their business manager to advertise across all of Facebook, I guess it's Meta now, and all of Instagram, right? So you're not just posting to one account and then posting to another, but you're using like ad tools. And so that's why we want to make this as seamless as possible. You want to make an ad that you only make one of, and then you can use across multiple platforms. And so that's when the aspect ratio comes into play. All these platforms have different aspect ratios, and we just went through a few. We don't want to be making the same ad in all sorts of different aspect ratios. This would be a huge waste of time, right? So you could technically do that. I can make a video and then make it 9:16, and then make it 16:9, and then make it a square. This would just take a ton of time and is really not the right way to go about this. What I would recommend, and this is something no one's going to tell you, is to make your content a square, a 1x1. Now this breaks some of the advertising rules. They will say that you need to take up as much screen real estate as possible. And hey, that works well. But you and I, if you're a therapist, you probably don't have that much time. So we need to make this one ad stretch as far as possible while also being effective. And the way we can do that is by making a square, because the 1x1 fits on almost every single platform. If you make a 1x1 video, it fits on Instagram stories, it fits on Facebook, it fits on your feed on Instagram as an image. So when you open up Canva or you open up Unfold or whatever program you're using to make your content, choose square. This is going to save you a lot of time. Now, there will be times where you might want to make a 9:16 story or where you want to make a YouTube video. In those cases, use the right aspect ratio. But if it's advertising and you want this ad to go across multiple platforms in social media, I would recommend the 1x1 square. And then finally, we're going to touch on where do we post our advertisement. Now, I'm going to make another video all about posting to Facebook Business Manager, using Facebook to post to not only Facebook, but also to Instagram as well. We're going to talk about that in a separate video. It'll be its own thing. But just to get that started, I would recommend posting advertisements using Facebook. Now, the reason for this is you can create a business account, and I touched on this already, but you can post to Instagram and Facebook all through one platform. And when you post to Instagram, you're posting to the feed, you're posting to the stories, you're posting to that platform as a whole. And same thing goes with Facebook. You're posting to the I think they have stories, something similar. You have the feed, the groups, this kind of thing as well. You're getting your advertisement out to a very large population. The other reason why I would recommend Facebook is you can really narrow down your target audience. So for example, if I wanted to, I can target Harvard graduates living in New York City who are between the ages of 24 and 27 and who are interested in baseball. Now I'm just making that up, but you can use the tools on Facebook to target your audience down to things that are that specific. So imagine that, right? So if you know your target audience, even where they live, what they do, how old they are, you can use Facebook tools to really target that, which is kind of amazing, a little bit scary, but from an advertising standpoint, it's a really useful tool. So I'd recommend starting with Facebook. Now again, Facebook advertisement is not something that's intuitive. It's actually quite confusing and a little bit difficult to get the hang of. That's why we're going to make another video all about it. But if you want to get a head start, I'd recommend using Facebook Business Manager to do your advertising. If you want to do something a little bit more simple, you can just use Instagram. They allow you to boost posts. Facebook also allows you to boost posts. However, I feel like when you use those methods, then you don't really get an explanation about what exactly you did or where that ad is going. I think by starting with Facebook, although it is a bit cumbersome and a little bit overwhelming, it really helps you grasp the concept of advertising in social media. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't know this, I also make a newsletter, and this video is actually based off of a post that will be coming out in the newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed to that, you can go ahead and do that down below in the link. It's totally free, and again, it's up to you. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you learned something, and until next time, I look forward to seeing you soon.